Hey guys, so I know it's a little past 10 o'clock, and I know some of you are probably thinking, well, D, what are you doing here? It's 10:30 and everything like that. So let's go ahead and talk about I want to talk about a couple of things here. First of all, it has been quiet here in our area, which is good. We will certainly take it. But to the north of us, though, a few hours to the north, I tell you what, just absolutely rocked. And I don't mean that in a good way either. So, I want to show you guys. Let's go up here to Kankakee, Illinois. And those of you may have heard, I'm going to play this back here for you because we got some storms up here right now. Sorry about that. We got some storms up here right now. And this is where they've been at. These storms have been training over, this northern Illinois. And I tell you what, if you guys, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to play this some frames here. Remember the storm? If you remember earlier, a few hours ago, there was a storm that I was tracking. It was west of Kankakee at the time. It was kind of like in the Emington area, kind of approaching Herscher, that sort of thing. Well, that same storm produced a tornado that hit the southern part of Kankakee. Now, I've got this set for 150 frames, and I want you to watch this area. So I'm going to draw this area out here for you. Watch this Kankakee, Shelby, Wheatfield area right here. And this is the area I've circled here. So watch this. And this is, again, 150 frames. And you'll see the storm I'm talking about, the same one that formed El Paso, Gridley area. And so as it's loading here, you'll see what I'm talking about. Um, but you will see that this same cell that I was tracking earlier, look at this. Made a right-hand turn, had a hook-shaped echo with it. Massive supercell. Um, and that cell obviously his weekend has moved out. We got a line of storms coming through, got another line. So pretty much northern Indiana, northern Illinois, northern Indiana, just getting absolutely hit right now by these storms. But that storm that hit the south side of Kankakee, um, I tell you what, it was just, I've seen video footage of it, the damage up there. Now, personally, I've been to Kankakee uh, I s about 3 times, 2 or 3 times in my life. I had a friend of mine that lived in Manteno before he moved to Indiana, and I will tell you this though, folks, Kankakee just got absolutely rocked by it. Um, and I don't have, again, it's not my I can't really share with you the video. You guys can have to look it up yourself. The photos of the damage, the video clips of the tornado. There was even 5-inch hail that was reported. If that is the case, 5-inch hail, that is DVD size, and that is a state record if confirmed. So, and for what I saw, it looked like it looked like to be a 5-inch. So right now, this is what we're tracking here. This is actually, and again, when you have Lake Village, okay, here's Kankakee over here, Lake Village. Um, there's a lot of emergency personnel at Lake Village right now. I've seen the video of Lake Village. Folks, it doesn't look good. It does not look good at all. Because that same tornado that hit, kind of like went south of Kankakee, kind of went over this way, went right through Lake Village, kept going on. In fact, let me show you this here too. Going back a little bit, and let me see if I can find it. There it is, Knox. Okay, so you see, you see Knox right here. That same cell that dropped the tornado in Kankakee went over this way. There was a tornado emergency warning for Knox. That is the highest of the highs you could go for tornadic storms in terms of warnings. And that tornado, from what I understand, again, reports are still coming in about it, but it looked like it went north of Knox, dangerously close to Knox. So, with that being said, so what does this mean for us here? What does this mean for us here in Southern Illinois? We've had nothing here. I understand that. I know that. But let me go ahead and show you what is likely to come our way here during the overnight. And again, so far, we're going to go to, let's see here. We got a line of storms that's coming in. So you see this line right here on radar. We could see this right here coming in. But it looks like if you look at it this way too, as we set this in motion, making sure it's 14 frames, making sure that it's going, it looks like it's going this way. It's kind of moving northeast a little bit. You can tell by one of the cells right here moving northeast. We take a look down here too. Let me zoom out a little bit. We got some storms that are in Oklahoma right now. Let's go to the Tulsa radar site. So looking here at Oklahoma, we got some activity down there. Eastern side of it. We could also see that as well, given how it's kind of moving. And that's something too about these storms kind of going in that northeasterly direction. So I would say definitely, the timing of this, as we talked about earlier, was 3 to 7 a.m. And so this is going to be, if we were to see any rain and storms, which we are going to see that tomorrow at least, but it's going to be where it's going to be early in the morning. It's going to be where we're all asleep. So I'm just telling you guys right now that we're still underneath a slight risk for severe weather, even though we've not had anything going on for us, which again, like what we saw up north in Kankakee and Lake Village, still, we're still underneath a slight risk for severe weather. 80% chance of a watch likely that's going to be issued for Fayetteville. Then with Fort Smith, Arkansas, down there in McAlester, Oklahoma. I believe Tulsa would also be included in that. Let's see. Yeah, Tulsa would be included in that. So, and here's another thing, too, to consider as we're looking at this here, as we're looking at this on radar. You have this cluster down here. You have this line right here. Wouldn't that surprise me the way they keep going at this rate? Wouldn't that surprise me if they were to get together somewhere and it's kind of formed this one long line? Because if you look at this has been a widespread severe weather event tonight. And you look at this, I know Michigan had some warnings earlier, but at one point, this was widespread. You had strong severe storms go along a line, something like this, all the way down to Mexico. It was 1,000 miles of severe weather like that. So, by the way, live chat's open if you guys want to say hi. But yeah, it's definitely where this has been so widespread. Now, looking here at the map for the warnings for the alert, so far no tornado warnings, which is good, as opposed to what we had earlier when SL, for example, was going, just passing just south of Kankakee and into Indiana. But guys, I tell you what though, again, we just got to be prepared. By the way, 71 degrees in Fairfield. It's 71 at the Fairfield Airport. So there's Fairfield right there, 70 in Mount Vernon, Illinois, 72 in Flora, St. Louis, 73, Lebanon, 71 in Ferdinand. So we're still in the 70s here. We're still in the 70s, and it's already, past 10 o'clock. So I'm telling you, it's crazy. And then look, if you go up north, if you go up to like Chicago, it's like in the 40s, low 50s up there. So we still, and this is something too, there's still some energy here. There's still some, kind of like some warm air, a little bit of juice, even though it's nighttime. And I know the storms are not certainly up to the power that they were earlier. But again, you still have some areas that have not had any activity yet that is going to see some rain and storms during the nighttime hours. So, but again, we're definitely seeing it. And you look at Kansas, Salina, Kansas, it's 56. And so let me move this over here a little bit. You can see this a little bit better. Zoom out a little bit. You can just tell the contrast. I mean, it's like, it's plain as day. Look at that. Goes all the way up here. You got the warm over here. You got the cooler air behind it. Colorado Springs, 32 degrees. It's freezing temps in Colorado Springs. And by the way, Colorado Springs went there last year. I would definitely go again. If you've never been to Colorado, it's absolutely beautiful. Now, for those of you that just happen to hop on, I'm going to show you guys this. I want to show you guys this again because when I look at cells that I've seen this year, I think this storm, the supercell that went right through, went just south of Kankakee, impacted Indiana earlier. That's one of the nastiest cells I've seen. Probably the nastiest cell I've seen all year. And here it is right here. It formed in the El Paso Gridley area just north and just made that right-hand turn. And it was like going northeast and then just that made that right-hand hook. And you can see it went quite away. And then you have this line currently going through like Moments. It was right through Moments, Lowell, Indiana. Hi, Earnhardt. Hope you're doing well up there, staying safe. But you have these rescue efforts for Kankakee area. By the way, I'll tell you this. I do have some news about Kankakee. Officials in Kankakee, Illinois have declared a mass casualty incident after an extremely large and violent tornado tore through the area hours ago. Authorities report possible fatalities and multiple injuries, with numerous homes and buildings suffering significant damage as emergency crews continue search and rescue operations. You can see the cell that caused the tornado earlier in Kankakee. I'm going to leave that going here for a little bit. But this actually had a PDS warning with it. So just south of Kankakee, but the damage there is just unreal. But yeah, that just made that right-hand turn. It looked like, and the more you watch it, you could see how it was going this way, and then it just went like that. It just went boom, and just went like that. It just made that right-hand turn, and then they kind of kept going a little bit this way, and kind of kept going over that way. But I just, again, just really, that right-hand turn, no. I mean, just a quick change of direction. That hook just looked nasty on it. But that cell has faded away. But a lot of this activity has been up here in our area. Let me see what this cell's doing here. Severe thunderstorm warning. Take a look. We'll take a look at velocity here. I'm not saying anything that's concerning to me. Let me see if I can play back for you while we have this up here. Let's see if we can go back maybe a little bit more, 200 frames. And kind of look at the velocity data, what we saw when it going through Kankakee. Because that had a nasty signature while I was looking at it, while I was watching it earlier. You'll see it coming in. There's the signature right there. Right, kind of like the Roma Park area, south of Kankakee. And just continued on. That's just a scary looking signature right there. And you start to see the second line move through and all that. So that's just a nasty couplet. Went right through just south of Kankakee, just in that Roma Park area right there. Look at that. Just right there. So as I say, when you have an event like this, prayers, thoughts of prayers to those affected by the storms, because lives are forever changed. Lives are forever changed. Kankakee, Aroma Park area, Lake Village, those areas got hit hard. "37 warnings, by the way. No tornado warnings, even though we had some earlier, which is good. And this goes all the way down to Texas, like Del Rio, Texas, severe thunderstorm warning. So this goes all the way from Michigan down to Texas. It's just a widespread severe weather event. Um, Here at home, nothing going on right now at the moment. But during the course of the night, we'll have to keep our eyes open to the west for this line. We have actually two lines we're keeping an eye on. This one here, though, I think it's going to go north of us. But this part right here is what I think is going to happen. And you can actually see right here. This is the part right here that if he keeps going in this general direction, northeast, that's what's going to get to us sometime between 3 and 7 a.m. So, therefore, obviously it's going to be happening while we're all asleep, unless if you're an early riser, unless if you wake up early. But that was the timing that Paducah issued earlier today. So just something to keep in mind about maybe having to wake up middle of the night. And as I always say, have multiple ways to receive information and updates. Maybe it's like, with your phone, with the weather radio, anything at all. Even like, what do you usually do when you wake up? You kind of check your phone, right? You check your phone and see what's going on. So have multiple ways to receive warnings, especially it's not just, at night, like such as this, but also like for any severe weather event. And we do have a tornado warning actually down in Oklahoma. Let's take a look at that one. Since we have not really looked at tornado warning since I hopped on here. This is just west of McAllister. And let's see what this one's about. Radar indicated tornado warning. And that's the first tornado warned storm for a while, at least for about an hour, I'd say. But radar indicated rotation. See what this one looks like. That cell right there. If there was any rotation, it'd be right over the Calvin area. So that's where it'd be at. And let me see here if that's the only one. It is. There's 12 severe thunderstorm warnings, 1 tornado warning. So we're seeing this activity die down, which is good. But again, I'm just telling you guys that we are expected to see some rain and storms tonight. But so far, though, they're still hours away from us. So if you happen to wake up in the middle of the night, that's going to be a reason why right there. All right, Jennifer, good to hear from you. Thank you. I know that, again, I know some of you guys will probably wonder why I'm still on here. Is because, again, I want to tell you guys, give you a heads up as to what's coming, what's heading our way. After this, though, again, Wednesday's going to be soggy, rainy, stormy, and all that. But the cooler temperatures will arrive. And there's really no more severe weather for this week anyway after tonight. So that's good. After tonight, Wednesday morning. After that, no severe weather being mentioned at all. But anyway, guys, so far so quiet, so good anyway. But again, no, guys, like I said, hey, just have multiple ways to receive information, multiple ways to receive warnings and all that. But like I said, the activity is supposed to be between 3 to 7 a.m. And so, again, check out social media, check out the radars, keep your eyes on the skies as always, and see you guys.